Hey everybody, and welcome back for another episode of the Cutting Room 101. And I chose this week's topic, and I thought that we could take a trip down memory lane and talk about our favorite childhood movies. There's a ton of movies that I used to watch as a kid that I still love to watch now, but I'm really only going to talk about one movie because I really want to talk about this movie. But other movies would include The Mighty Ducks, The Goonies was a huge part of my childhood, Flight of the Navigator, Tower of Terror, Twister, which I still love to watch now, a lot of Spielberg movies from the 70s and 80s, a lot of movies from Disney like The Lion King and all those animated movies, Pixar movies such as Toy Story, there's Good Burger, Casper, Free Willy, lots of movies out there I used to watch all the time, and I still love watching all these movies now, but the movie I really want to talk about is The Sandlot. Now, The Sandlot is a movie that I hold very dear to me. It's a huge, like The Goonies, a huge part of my childhood. It's one of the movies that I used to watch almost non-stop. And I really wouldn't be surprised if I've seen this movie close to 100 times. I'm serious when I say that. I think I watched this every day for almost an entire summer, and that doesn't count all the other times I watched this movie. I watched this movie almost non-stop, and I still love it. It never gets old to me, and I'll give you some reasons as to why I really love this movie. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this movie, but if you haven't, one way I like to kind of describe this movie, even though it has no relation to this movie, is that The Sandlot is kind of like Full Metal Jacket in that it is divided into two parts and each part is completely different than the other. The first half of the movie is about this kid named Smalls. That's a nickname that he's given later in the movie, but he moves into this new neighborhood. He doesn't know anybody, but he ends up seeing all these kids play baseball on a sandlot, and he goes over there one day to meet new people, and he ends up embarrassing himself because he doesn't know how to play baseball. But the leader of the group named Benny later joins up with Smalls and tells him that they need a ninth guy and that he'll teach him how to play baseball, and he ends up helping him into the group and helping him make friends. And the first half of this movie is really just about a bunch of kids hanging out, being kids, and playing baseball and showing their love of baseball. Now the second half of the movie really shows Smalls being part of the group, and he's really getting good at the game of baseball, and they need a new baseball, and he ends up swiping his dad's baseball that's autographed by Babe Ruth, but he has no clue who Babe Ruth is. He ends up hitting the baseball over the fence, and now they can't retrieve it because there's a beast on the other side of the fence, and whoever goes over the fence has never returned. Every time I watch this movie, it really takes me back to being a kid and watching this movie almost every day. And I used to really love the game of baseball and play it all the time, and I still really enjoy the game, but I don't play it nearly as much now. But this movie is more than just a kid's movie. It's more than just a movie about baseball. It's a movie about friendship. The group of kids in this film do such a great job acting. They all seem like they'd be friends in real life, and they really bounce off each other. And what I like is they're all giving unique personalities. And each kid is funny in their own way. They're able to bounce off each other, and it makes for some really memorable scenes. There's so many standout scenes, and there's so many quotable lines. And some movies when you watch as a kid and then watch them now, they don't quite hold up. Not this film, it is still great. When I was a kid, I used to prefer the second half over the first half because the second half just has the kids getting into all this trouble and adventure, and I really like that about the movie. But now that I'm older, I much prefer the first half, even though the second half is still enjoyable. Even though The Sandlot relies on baseball as a major part of its plot, it's a movie that anybody can enjoy because, like I said, it's more than just a baseball movie. In my opinion, it perfectly captures what it's like to be a kid and just hang out with other kids during the summer. And it really demonstrates how, as a kid, everything just seems so much bigger to you. This movie takes place in the 60s, and it has a great soundtrack that really reflects that era. And besides that, it just has a great score as well. There's even a little tune that sounds like it's paying tribute to Western music, like music that can be found in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. But my favorite song from the movie is what I consider to be the main theme of the movie, and it's played during the opening credits and the ending credits. And I'll post a link in the description below so you can check it out if you haven't seen it or if you just want to rehear it again. But every time I listen to the song, it takes me back to being a kid watching this movie for the first time. I just listened to this song again last week. I can't get enough of it, and if you haven't seen The Sandlot, please check it out. It's a great family film about friendship and just growing up, and I try to watch this movie a few times every year, and every time I watch it, it feels like I'm hanging out with old friends. So that's my pick for my favorite childhood movie, and let me know in the comments below your favorite childhood movie, and if you've seen The Sandlot, let me know what you think of it. And if you like this channel, please subscribe, and if you're not subscribed to my main channel, Film Recall, and you want to subscribe, you can click the link below. And stay tuned tomorrow to hear from Anthony from The Random Mind on his favorite childhood movie. See you then.